Okay, hello everybody. So today I'm going to talk to you about how to understand the basics of ABC notation. My name is Chris Warshaw and I run the abcnotation.com website. Okay, so what are we going to cover today? This is assuming that you've got some ABC notation and you want to understand what it means, what the letters and the numbers mean. If you just want to turn it into dots, into the score, I suggest you look at my other video, which is how to get started with ABC notation. But today we're going to delve a bit more into the details. Okay, so we're going to cover, I'm just going to show you some software that you can use to do this. I'm going to use Easy ABC, but there are other software packages out there that will do exactly the same stuff. And then we'll look at the information around the tune, so the title, composer, meter, the key, those kind of things. And then we'll look at the notes, how you set pitches and how you do rests. We'll look at how you do lengths of notes, how you do beaming, triplets, and a thing called broken rhythms. I'll show you that. We'll look at keys, how you put accidentals in, and how you do different clefs. And then I'll talk about very briefly about bar lines and repeats. They're very straightforward. And then I'll give you some suggestions at the end of how to go further with this. Okay. So first of all, the software, Easy ABC. What I recommend you do is go to the ABC website. If you go to the abcnotation.com/software, and you'll see there's a page here with loads of stuff on it. Choose the one for your machine. I'm going to pick Windows, but this Easy ABC works on Windows, Macs, and Linux. So if I click on that, there's Easy ABC right at the top because it's very fully featured. And I recommend that you click on this top link here, and that will take you to the SourceForge download, which is this page here. If you click on, there's other links there that take you back to the original version by Niels Lyberg, who wrote the software, but that's not maintained anymore. So use this SourceForge version. Okay. I've downloaded it. I downloaded it yesterday, installed the latest version. I've been using it for years, but got the latest one yesterday. And when you open it up, this is what it looks like. So there's 4 panels. Let's start bottom right is the panel where we're actually going to type the ABC code in. Above that is where we'll see the score. So where my mouse is hovering at the moment. Top left is where we get a list of the tunes. So this is going to be saved in a file, which will have multiple tunes in. You can put 1 tune per file, or you can put thousands, in fact. And then bottom left is the welcome to Easy ABC. This is a helpful window that tells you things about the stuff you're typing in. Okay, so let's get started. Now, every ABC tune, if you've ever looked at any on the website, you'll see they usually start with an X field. I'm going to put that in. And that's just a reference number. It's not really used so much anymore these days, now that we have these wonderful graphical editors, but used to be used for picking out tunes from a file. So you could pick out number 1, number 3, and number 7. Okay, so, and then we put the title. That's my new tune. Okay, call it what you like. And then we can put other information about the tune. So things like the composer, me. Just while I do that, while I think of that, I'm going to just turn the size up. All I'm doing is control and moving my mouse scroll wheel, so I just increase the size. You can also set the font size just to make it clearer for you guys. Okay, and then this is typically in this top section of the tune, we call it the header. This is where the stuff about the tune goes. So things like the meter. So let's have a tune in, say 4/4. Okay, and you can see on the bottom left here, we've got a list of lots of possibles. I mean, obviously there's many more than that, but those are the kind of common ones that you might see. So we could also call this common time. Okay, let's undo that. And then I'm going to put the key. Let's just start with something easy. So we'll start with the key of C. Which tells me is no sharps and flats. And as you see, as soon as I put the key in, some stuff appears at the top here. Okay, so the key fields in this thing, I call them fields. These are the things with a letter and a colon after it. The key fields are the X and the T. They tell the software that the tune is starting, and the K tells the software that the header, the information has stopped, and the actual notes are going to start. And as soon as you put the key in, then you'll see. Up here we get the title and the composer. Okay, I'm also going to zoom this one. Again, you can do this with the scroll wheel So I don't need my name to appear, do we? Excuse me. Okay, so now we've got the tune. Let's put some notes in. Okay, so the basis of ABC is that we use letters to represent the notes. That's why it's called ABC. Okay, so each letter represents a note, and then we'll use numbers for other things. So let's start with a C, capital C. Before I do that, just one quick thing. I'm going to go to the settings and I'm going to turn off the typing assistance. The reason I do that, typing assistance is really useful, and I will cover that in another video. But it's if you're just learning the software, if you're learning the system, the ABC system, then I would say it can be a bit confusing because it will start to help you out, and it might put in things that you're not expecting. So I suggest you turn off the typing assistance when you get started. Okay, so let's put in a C, capital C, and you'll see that the note appears. And C is the capital denotes the fact that it's down here below the stave. So we use capitals, lowercase to denote lower notes, and uppercase to denote higher notes. So if I put in a C in lowercase, other way around, isn't it? Use uppercase to denote the low notes, and lowercase to note the upper notes. That's the reason for that is that's a standard way in instrument history of denoting what notes an instrument would play, so what range an instrument would have. So it wasn't my invention. It's something that's been around for a long time. Okay, so C. If I want a C above that, a dash beside it, so it's telling the software that note goes up an octave, or 2 dashes. That's a bit extreme, but that puts it right up 2 octaves above. Okay, if I want to go down, I can put a comma. If I do that, I think what it's going to do is put it into the bass clef. Okay, automatically. You can change that, but it will automatically put it in the bass clef. So dash to put things up, comma to put things down. Okay, so we can put in a scale now. So C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then lowercase c for the last note. Okay, there's our scale. If I want to rest, that's a Z. I think that's all I need to say about pitches. As I say, the notes upper and lowercase will cover most of your notes. If you want to go up another octave, use a dash. If you want to go down, use a comma. Great. Let's get on now to note length. So let's clear away some of this stuff. So in ABC, the number after the note tells the software what length the note is. So you'll see there's no number here. So it assumes that it's a quaver or an eighth note. I have to look at my notes to remind myself what the equivalence is. So a quaver or an eighth note is the default at the moment. Okay. If I put 2, then it's twice as long. It becomes a quarter note or a crotchet. If I put 4, twice as long again. Okay. If I want it half as long, so if I want a semiquaver or a 16th note divided by 2, and that's a bit tedious to type those in all the time. So there's a shortcut, just do a slash afterwards. Okay. So I can get the note lengths here. Just while we're on that, I'll just say very quickly, if I want to put them together in a beam, just put them next to each other. Okay. Yeah. So next to each other, they go in a beam. If they've got space between them, they get separated out, so they're not in the same beam. Now, you may think, okay, that's straightforward enough. What if you want to type in a whole tune of semiquavers, of 16th notes? That could be a bit tedious, typing these divided by 2 all the time. So what we do in that case is we can set the unit note length to be a 16th rather than an 8th. So by default, it's an 8th or a quaver, yeah. By default, it's an 8th or a quaver. We can set it to be a 16th just by using the L field, 1/16. And now you'll see they become demi-semiquavers, 30-second notes, these C/2. Or if I just, let's just do that. So now they're semiquavers, 16th notes. And now if I do C2, it's now a quaver or an 8th note. Okay, so this L will control all the basic note length. It's called the unit note length, and it controls it for the whole tune, and then we just multiply by 2 or 4 or whatever, or divide by 2 to get what we want. You can do different numbers. So if I put this up to 4, there you go. That's a quarter note. So each letter represents a quarter note, and then 2 becomes half note. Okay. What else can we do while we're here? Just a couple of quick things. Triplets. You want to put triplets in. You just put a bracket and a 3, and then I can do a triplet. Okay. Or if I want them, let's not have quarter notes. Let's have eighth notes, and there you are. There's a triplet. So triplets you can do with these brackets, and there are other options. You can do 4s, 5s, whatever you want in your tune. Broken rhythms. If you may find, for example, if you wanted to write out a hornpipe, if you're writing folk music, or if you want to write out something in swing rhythm explicitly, where you've got this kind of dotted rhythm, it's a bit tedious to do something like C2, C3 over 2, C over 2, so that to get this kind of dotted swung rhythm. Instead of that, and that looks a bit cumbersome, doesn't it? Instead of that, I can put 2 C's, and I can put a greater than sign in between them, just to show that the first one is bigger than the second one. Or that can go in the other direction, as you might find in a Strathspey or something, which shows that the first one is smaller than the second one, and that is by default is taken to mean that the first one is 1.5 times the length, and the second one is half the length. Okay, if you're doing the greater than, and vice versa if you're doing the less than. Great. I think that's all I'm going to say about lengths. Note lengths. There are other things you can do. I mean, you can change this L thing in the middle of a tune if you want to, but I don't recommend that. It's best to keep, decide what your note length is and just stick to it for the whole tune, because otherwise it's quite confusing to read. So ABC can be quite easily read. This bit here, rather than looking at the notes, I can read this stuff here without having to look at the score, but actually gets very confusing if you start to put stuff like that in. So that's much clearer to me now. Okay. Now, I assume you're not going to want to let's get rid of those. Let's have some A's. Let's assume you don't want to do everything in C, so you probably want to play in different keys. So this key field, obviously, you can put different keys. So D here, or A, or F sharp. Okay, and also this field will recognize modes. So if I wanted to I can put minors, D minor, okay, or mode, D mixolydian, which is the normal D scale, but with a flattened seventh, C natural at the top. I can put that in as well. So it recognizes all the 7 modes, minor, major, and so on, and sharps and flats. Obviously, D flat you can get like that. If you want to do these things as accidentals rather than, let's go back to C. If we want to do these as accidentals, let's have some notes. You can't use the sharp and flat. Obviously, you can't use the B for the flat because that's a note. If I put B in, that's a note, right? So I can't use that to denote flats, even though I can in the key signature. So B flat, B with a lowercase b. I can't do that in the tune. So the design decision at the time was that we'd use an underscore to denote a flat, an equal sign to denote a natural, and a caret symbol, so that the pointing up arrow to denote a sharp. Okay, so they tell the software what's happening to the note. Is it going down, or is it staying the same, or is it going up? Okay, and obviously you can also double those up, so you can have double flats and double sharps should you wish. Okay, let's get rid of those. Oh, and just say, if you want to change the clef, there's a whole bunch of extra specifications you can put into the key signature. So you can have just the key, but you can put the clef as the bass clef. Being a bit extreme. Lots of ledger lines there. It's a bit more reasonable. But I'm not going to cover those. That's a bit beyond this particular video. Okay, there's a whole lot of stuff you can do, which you can find out in other places. Okay, let's just finish off then with some bar lines. Go back to my notes. A bar line is done with a what's called a pipe symbol. So that if you look on your keyboard, it's often down on the bottom left on mine. It looks like a vertical line, but with dashes. When you type it in, actually, it just comes out as a single straight line. Okay. If I want to have a repeat, I can do a colon and a pipe symbol. If I want, let's have some more notes. If I want a double repeat, I just do 2 colons. If I want a double bar line, just 2 bar lines. Let's have a new line. By the way, every time you type a new line in here, you get a new line in here. Although the way the lines are broken up is determined by the software to a certain extent. So if you try and put too much stuff on one line in the score, the software will usually flow it onto another line. If you want to, if I do that, now you'll see that's a bit extreme. If I want those things to stay on one line, I can put a backslash, and that tells the software to keep those 2 lines together. So let's have some more notes. If I want a thick, thin bar line, double bar line, I can do a open square brackets and a bar line, and vice versa. If I want a first time repeat, I can do, that wouldn't be the way you do it, would it? A bar line with a first time repeat, I do a 1 after the bar line. Get rid of some of that, it's getting in the way a bit. Okay, bar line with a 1, and if I want then the second time repeat, colon with a 2. There you are. There's my new masterpiece. I can zoom in a bit to see it all. And there you go. So you can put in bar lines quite straightforwardly. Okay, I think that's probably enough for this video for now. Let's go back to the presentation. So what I'm going to suggest you do, if you want to learn a bit more about this stuff, if you go to the Learn page on ABC Notation, so I had that open here. There's a couple of articles you can read out. These are getting replaced. In fact, the video you're watching now is going to replace this blog article, How to Understand ABC. The ABC Standard is the document that tells you all about the details of ABC, everything. But it's a little bit long in the tooth. So I wouldn't suggest you start there unless you want to find out something very specific. There's a whole bunch of examples. That's where I'd suggest you go next. If you go to that page, there's a whole bunch of examples like I've been going through in this video, and you can see the code and the music that it produces together, and you can use that to figure out what you need to do. And then there's a bunch of tutorials as well, put together by lots of other people, and a really handy cheat sheet of ABC syntax. So that's just a single page that shows you pretty much everything. Okay, so I'd recommend you go there if you want to find out a bit more, or if you get stuck on anything, go to the discuss page, and there's a mailing list which is used a lot. People use that. It's discuss all kinds of things on that about ABC, or maybe perhaps a bit quicker if you're on Facebook. The ABC Notation users group on Facebook is a great place to discuss ABC, and there are lots of people there who will help you out. The other place I would recommend, there's a number of sites that use it, but the session down here, the session.org, has loads of tunes and people discussing them all the time. So I would recommend any of those to find out a bit more or get some help if you get stuck. Software, we've seen that page right at the beginning. There are other bits of software, and I will do another video about Easy ABC and some of the tips and tricks that you can use to use it. And there are plenty of other bits of software out there that will do it. As we saw in the previous video, how to get started, you don't need to download any of this stuff. You can just do it all online. Okay, and then the videos page, keep checking in on the videos page, because this is the third one of these I've made, and I've got quite a few more to go. So I'm going to do another one on the next steps, chords, grace notes, and accents. I'll do one on songs, so chord symbols, transposition, lyrics, those kind of things. I'm going to do one on polyphony and voices. So if you want multiple voices in your tune, and then I'll do one specifically on easy ABC and the tips and tricks and things that I've found out as I've been going along. Okay, so I hope you found that useful. If you did, click on the like button, subscribe to the channel, put in a comment if you've got anything you wanted to know about. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.